Okay, so we finished off the last time we were looking at this with this, and I have known the arms, already known them all, arms that are braceleted and white and bare, but in the lamplight, downed with light brown hair. This was when we were combined in the common room. So with the image here of the arms, now remember we were talking about what synecdoche is, and that idea of the, I think we wrote it on the back there, yeah, a part of something that is used to refer to its whole. So that we have here with arms, which we'd already identified, and the extra bit that I just want you to write here is we've got obviously female imagery, but also I think there's an image of virginity, purity, of innocence, this idea of white. So we might just put purity. Now, I'd originally had in my original notes, purity and innocence, but I think that the fact that the arms are bare, there's something there that's a little bit more sexualized. Purity, but suggestive. I think I'm going to change my annotation. But in the lamplight, downed with light brown hair. And over the page. Now, do you have you written the line that has been cut off from the top of here? Yeah? Okay, oh good. So you've got it on the other page. Is it perfume from a dress that makes me so digress? So did you guys write it down the bottom here?
Yeah.
Okay, so where the word perfume is it perfume? I want you just to write it is smell, so we've got olfactory imagery. Back to reality. Olfactory imagery, back to reality, because then when he says that makes me so digress, and you may need to, if you can't quite read that, you might just need to fill in the bits of the word, the letters that are missing, and it's a question mark there as well. So that makes me so digress, question mark. And to digress is to kind of go off the point, it's further procrastination. So here, digress. And it's because the idea of the perfume, is it perfume from a dress that makes me so digress, and so that distraction of women. So I'm going to put here the distraction of women. I mean, he's saying that, when he smells the perfume, that he goes away from reality for a moment, or starts thinking about other things. And then he comes back to these images of female bodies with arms that lie along a table or wrap about a shawl. And should I then presume? And how should I begin? So firstly, we've got these rhetorical questions. And where we have arms that lie along a table, he's actually here he's using a pun, because that word lie can obviously mean an untruth, or, as it seems more likely here, the placement of the arms on the table. But he sees women as, because he doesn't understand them, he can't trust them. So pun. Okay, he can't understand women, he doesn't trust them. And when he says, and should I then presume, and how should I begin? So if he's saying, should I presume to know what they're talking about or what they want? How should I begin? How should I begin a conversation, an interaction? And so these rhetorical questions are reflective of his anxiety. Shall I say I have gone at dusk through narrow streets and watched the smoke that rises from the pipes of lonely men in shirt sleeves leaning out of windows? I should have been a pair of ragged claws scuttling across the floors of silent seas. This is a really famous image from this poem. Look at how the use here of now I think I had it here, the part of something used to refer to its whole, so it's that synecdoche again, because he doesn't use the word crab, but he's talking about crabs here. I should have been a pair of ragged claws scuttling across the floors of silent seas. Look at the beautiful sibilance we have here. So sibilance being that repetition of S that gives it, it can give it a bit of a sinister tone. So let's identify that scuttling across at the end there, the floors of silent seas. So sibilance. Now, the sibilance works along with the synecdoche to symbolize a crab. Now, think about a crab. They run sideways, don't they? And so there's this idea of his actions and his thoughts like always kind of going sideways but never forward. So he's thinking deeply and he's wanting to do these things, but he never gets that forward motion. And he's also immersed in this this fantasy, this deep sea of fantasy. At the end, he talks about the mermaids singing each to each. So we have, for our note, let's put reflection of his actions sideways, never progressing, forward, and we might put it across here, ocean imagery, deep sea of fantasy. The use of the word silent here is significant as well. The silent seas, which is quite the contrast. Seas are not silent. But if we think about that word silent, it does allude to ideas of isolation and separation, like it's his separation from society. It's a separation, and then the 18, sorry. Separation. All right. And also, crabs are solitary, and they have a hard exterior. That's exterior. Crabs are solitary with a hard exterior. It's a bit hard to read, sorry about that. And the afternoon, the evening sleeps so peacefully, smoothed by long fingers, asleep, tired, or it malingers, stretched on the floor here beside you and me. Should I, after tea and cakes and ices, have the strength to force the moment to its crises? Though I have wept and fasted, wept and prayed, though I have seen my head grown slightly bald, brought in upon a platter, I am no prophet, and here's no great matter. I have seen the moment of my greatness flicker, and I have seen the eternal footman hold my coat and snicker, and in short, I was afraid. Okay, now we've firstly got the personification here of the afternoon. And it's a peaceful image. And so here's poor old Prufrock having this existential crisis. And then we've got this peaceful image that is in direct contrast to it. So personification. Actually, existential turmoil is a better word. Sorry? Oh no. Thank you. Turmoil. I'm changing that to turmoil. Anyway, I've got white out there. Yep. Now, this image of the afternoon, okay? The afternoon and the evening. And he's saying here that the afternoon, the evening, asleep, tired, or it malingers. Now, before, at the very start, we had when the evening is spread out against the sky. So it's no longer spread out. It's now beside him. There's a sense of it being next to him. Malingering means to hang about, basically. And so with that idea, there's this notion that, I mean, stretched out is kind of an image that's more I guess there's a tenseness with it. If you think of something stretched out, there's that idea of it being really tight and tense. But this, now we've got the evening far more relaxed, and let me see. Oh, let me see. I'm just looking up the definition of malinger. Okay, so it keeps giving me malingering. I don't want malingering, I want malinger. Alright. Okay, so I said hanging about, and I thought, no, that's not quite right. It is the idea of intentionally faking or exaggerating physical or mental illness to gain an external reward, like avoiding work. So if we think of the evening here, this personified evening, as it being asleep, tired, and rather than just hanging about, I thought, no, that's not too strong. There's something a bit more about malinger, and it is. It's that idea of avoidance. Okay, so if you're a malingerer, it means that you're faking illness. Okay, and usually you fake illness to not have to do something, to not go to school or not go to work. And so if we make note here, so it's all to do with the personification of the evening. So we're going to say no longer spread out, it reflects his own avoidance. And make note of these random rhymes here that are just kind of not with any sense of routine, or you can't predict them, but we've got fingers and malingers rhymes. Isis and crisis rhyme. Platter and matter. And then flicker and snicker. So we've got those rhymes as well. All right. Now we've got some allusions to other texts here. When he says, "But though I have wept and fasted, wept and prayed," that's a religious allusion, okay? And that's referring to, they call it Christ's Passion. So he brings in this religious allusion. And this here, when he says, "Though I have seen my head grown slightly bald, brought in upon a platter," this is, it's also a religious allusion. This is the execution of John the Baptist. So it comes from Mark, the book of Mark 6:14. Execution of John the Baptist. And of course, grown slightly bald, he keeps having these intrusive, paranoid thoughts about his aging. So I'm just going to put intrusive, paranoid thoughts about aging. "I am no prophet, and he is no great matter. I have seen the moment of my greatness flicker, and I have seen the eternal footman hold my coat and snicker, and in short, I was afraid." The greatness flicker refers back to the idea that he can't seize the moment, like that he knows what he wants to do, and he can see it there, but he doesn't follow through. He's unable to capture that. And with flicker, you have a sense of something going out, don't you? So he could not seize the moment. The eternal footman, of course, is death, and so he's saying here that he's unable. Oh no, sorry, he feels like he's being mocked by his own mortality. That idea of snickering at him. Feels mocked by own mortality. The modernists were very concerned with the idea of mortality. And would it have been worth it, after all? After the cups, the marmalade, the tea, among the porcelain, among some talk of you and me, would it have been worthwhile to have bitten off the matter with a smile, to have squeezed the universe into a ball, to roll it towards some overwhelming question, to say, I am Lazarus, come from the dead, come back to tell you all, I shall tell you all. If one, settling a pillow by her head, should say, that is not what I meant at all. That is not it at all. We've got this rhyming happening again. Tea, me, while, smile, and then it breaks, ball, question, dead, but then we come back to all and head. So it breaks, it becomes an irregular rhyme, because while we've got tea, me, while, smile, we suddenly go to ball and question, ball rhyming with all down here, and dead rhyming with head, but question doesn't rhyme with anything, does it? So there's that, the emphasis on this with no rhyme, which kind of stands out. Now, another literary allusion. Remember when I did the intro and spoke about how influenced he was by the metaphysical poets? This is just an allusion here to Andrew Marvell's poem To His Coy Mistress, which is ironic due to its carpe diem message. So in the poem To His Coy Mistress, there is this carpe diem message. What does carpe diem mean? What does it mean? No time to waste. Seize the day. It's that motivational, positive message, which is ironic because he isn't able to seize the day at all. Allusion to Andrew Marvell's poem. To his coy mistress. Ironic due to its carpe diem message. Now, what did you notice here? To have bitten, to have squeezed. And then we've got two rolls, so it breaks a little bit, but still with two beginning. We call that, what do we call it? An afra. Actually, I guess we could go down to here. So and who knows who Lazarus was in the Bible? Sorry? He came back to life. So Lazarus rose from the dead. And so this religious allusion, or actually we're going to say biblical allusion this time. And to say, I am Lazarus, come from the dead, come back to tell you all. So he's saying, but he's not quite dead yet. So it's saying, you know, if he asks this question, and if he says, or, you know, if he does this thing that he's so afraid to do, or that he's hesitating, he's like, is it going to be worthwhile? Would it be like people finally noticing me? It's like I'm dead right now and I'm just observing everything. And if I do go forth with this and ask the question, will it be that I am Lazarus coming back from the dead, come back to tell you all? But then he goes, this woman is just going to go, that is not what I meant. That is not it at all. So he'll still get it wrong. So he's kind of got this grandeur of coming back from the dead, but then immediately crushed by his paranoid idea that he's going to get it wrong. Let's write biblical illusion. He feels like he's dead. And I'm just going to put in brackets there, not seen, so he kind of feels like he's not seen by people. But this here, I'll tell you all, tell us what. It's abruptly broken off, isn't it? So he's thought, and in that the message, sorry. Okay, so the thought message abruptly broken off by continued worry that he'll get it wrong. And here, if one settling a pillow by her head should say, that is not what I meant at all. That is not it at all. I think we've got a real sense of pathos being evoked here, because we've got this this pity and this sadness that's evoked here for our flaneur. Let's write evoke and I think, I don't know, you could also read that as it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek maybe, or a bit, you know, I feel like Eliot himself in all these readings that we're doing with his poetry, perhaps he's sitting back going, that is not what I meant at all. That is not it at all. So maybe there's something there about the way we interpret things, the complexity of interpretation. Oh, I might write that. I don't mind that. Let's write that. Actually, I'm going to put the complexity of meaning of interpretation. And would it have been worth it after all? Would it have been worthwhile after the sun sets? Aha, did you guys write it down here? After the sun sets. Have you all got this? I'm not going to write the whole thing. And the dooryards and the sprinkled streets. I just wrote that bit there because I want you to circle this repetition of after. After the sun sets, after the novels, after the teacups, after the skirts that trail along the floor, and this and so much more. It is impossible to say what I mean, but as if a magic lantern threw the nerves in patterns on a screen, would it have been worthwhile if one settling a pillow or throwing off a shawl and turning toward the window should say, that is not it at all, that is not what I meant at all. So of course here we've got repetition, which is the manifestation of his fear of rejection. A magic lantern was a early projector, so literally like a video projector, that's what that means. Alright, and I'm trying to not do all of the notes because I know that we're going to run out of time. Just where you've got the repetition of after noted, the repetition's there because it conveys the monotony of encounters that are only turned down. Repetition conveys the monotony of encounters only to be turned down. Because he feels like if he does that, this idea of the magic lantern would be putting his inner self on display. And he's not got the confidence to do that. No, I am not Prince Hamlet, nor was meant to be. Am an attendant lord, one that will do to swell a progress, start a scene or two, advise the prince, no doubt an easy tool. Alright, so we have this allusion to Shakespeare's Hamlet. Okay, allusion to Shakespeare's Hamlet. Now, Hamlet was a famous indecisive character, or infamous, indecisive character. Now, the attendant lord was Polonius in the play, and the attendant lord Polonius gave advice. So, Shakespeare's Hamlet, indecisive. But he had this attendant lord, Polonius, but he was regarded wrong in his judgment. And Hamlet then refers to Polonius as a fool. So all of this relating to Hamlet, he's saying, I'm not Prince Hamlet, nor was meant to be. And I mean, Prince Hamlet, even though he's an indecisive character, he was Prince. I'm an attendant lord, one that will do to swell a progress, start a scene or two, advise the prince, no doubt, an easy tool, deferential, glad to be of use, politic, cautious and meticulous, full of high sentence, but a bit obtuse, at times indeed almost ridiculous, at times almost the fool. And so if you think about all the building up here of character of this attendant lord, but then ending with the fool. And I am just going to very quickly go here. I grow old, I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled. Shall I part my hair behind? Do I dare to eat a peach? There's a very sexual nature here. Peaches are considered to be, I mean, they're a bit elusive themselves. You can only get them in summer. They bruise easily. Elusive fruit, a treat. There's sexual connotations. And he's here, this paranoia of becoming old. We've got this repetition and ellipsis, which is the unstoppable constant progression of time. Repetition, ellipsis. Oh, where was I? And I wanted to make note of this because this is a real modernist concern. When you do Miss Dalloway next year, it'll be a big thing. And he's very well aware that whilst he's hesitating and procrastinating and unable to move forward, time continues to march on, and he will continue to get older. And so that fear of the eternal footman, that mocking of mortality. I got so close to finishing it with you, but rather than trying to rush through this beautiful ending, this beautiful sad ending where he says, look at this, he's talking about the mermaids, and he says, I have heard the mermaids singing each to each. I do not think they will sing to me. It's so sad. I will finish this off with you. Won't be tomorrow because we're actually going to join classes for, I'm going to lead the teaching of Hollow Men. And so we'll come back to this when we're back in our class together. It is very hard for me to do this poem so quickly. It makes me feel anxious because there's so much in there. Alright, I'm stopping our recording.